Hi, Helen, Sue Kedgley, UN Women. Just back from the Pacific and wondering if you've got any insight into why it would be that in the Pacific there are not only the highest levels of violence, but the lowest levels of women in parliament of any region in the world, including the Middle East, and why we've even got 4 nations with no women at all in parliament. Do you have any insights into why this might be and what we can do?
Well, everything you say is true. I think there's only 5 countries in the world now with no women in parliament, and not 4 of them in the Pacific.
Yes.
So what is going on? And what could any of us do about it? And doing exactly what you're doing, Sue, and other development actors, work with the women. Work with the women to support them, to make the political system work for them. It's not easy. I mean, and I don't think we can be too sanctimonious about it in New Zealand. I mean, we got the vote for women in 1893 after a struggle. The first woman was not elected for another 40 years, right? 1933. And so if you're looking at how long have countries been independent, a number of countries around our world have had independence for 40 or 50 years. They've actually done better than New Zealand, the rate of progress we had from the time of universal franchise and electing a government. So we had the first woman elected in 1933. When I went into Parliament in 81, as I often say, the numbers doubled from 4 to 8. 4 to 8. I mean, this was almost 90 years after women's suffrage. So I have to say that if we compare our pathetically slow progress, developing countries ain't doing too badly in many respects. And you look at Rwanda, which leads the world, 56% of MPs are women in Rwanda. Now, what happened in Rwanda 18 years ago? There was a genocide with more than 1 million people, well, roughly 1 million people killed. So what happened there? They turned their society inside out, and there was a process of renewal, and the women have been part of it. And interestingly, when you have these huge and traumatic events, if the build back from it can really engage and involve women, you can build back a lot better. And this women, peace and security agenda is a big agenda at the UN now, backed by Security Council resolutions. So with the Pacific, which is lagging, we just have to support the women. And I remember about the first year I was administrator, early 2010, I went to Papua New Guinea and I was supporting Dame Carroll, the one and only woman member of Parliament, and she was pushing very, very hard for a bill for a gender quota of 22 reserved seats. Well, still hasn't happened 3 years later. There are 3 women now in the Papua New Guinea Parliament, but it's extremely slow progress. But we just have to keep working to support the women.